This is the GERM Report for the week of August 31st. I'm Dan Graber. Hurricane Laura in the Gulf of Mexico was the primary driver behind the price of oil last week. The storm quickly lost strength after making landfall, and much of the impact was already baked into the price of oil earlier in the week. Still, though, the U.S. government estimates about 70% of total U.S. Gulf oil production and 50% of total gas production is still offline. Brent crude oil managed a 1.5% gain on the week, more or less in line with the yellow alert, to finish trading Friday at $45.05 per barrel. Populism and nationalism are on the rise, eroding the links that moderated the liberal world order since the end of World War II. From President Trump to President Bolsonaro, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is part of an emerging theme of national pride. As Russia longs for its Soviet dominance by casting its power across Anatolia, Erdogan's government is pining for the glory of the Ottoman Empire, whose disintegration in the late 19th century helped usher in the events that triggered the First World War. But Turkish expansionary aims are fraught with risk. The Turkish parliament said Friday that Ankara would stand up for its territorial rights both on land and offshore. Ankara has long sought to advance its drilling rights off Cyprus, though the speaker said Turkey now had more economic and military power to advance its regional interests. That same day, the Turkish government issued a maritime advisory notifying mariners of military drills in the Mediterranean through September 11th. Nearly a decade ago, Houston-based Noble Energy started exploratory drilling in the region's Aphrodite gas field, hoping to exploit the estimated 7 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. At one point, the government in Cyprus estimated those reserves could translate to $25 billion a year in sales. That's roughly the same value as the total economy. At issue then, and at issue today, is territorial rights. Turkey does not recognize Cyprus and has occupied the northern half of the island republic since 1974. The issue has enveloped Egypt and Israel, which each have gas reserves of their own. Greece, Egypt, Turkey, and Libya all have competing claims to economic zones in the eastern Mediterranean, and disputes there are nothing new. What is new are the strengthened neo-Ottoman ambitions of the Turkish president. Erdogan has been advancing neo-Ottomanism deep into the Mediterranean and parts of the Middle East for much of the year. Turkey claims it has an edge in the Mediterranean now, seeing the French effort in Libya as a failure. That perceived failure emboldens Ankara as it shares maritime interests with Libya in the eastern Mediterranean. That in turn collides with French efforts to usher in real political change in Lebanon, where French President Emmanuel Macron stands accused of advancing his own colonial ambitions. Turkish and Lebanese interests collide, meanwhile, in Syria, where Turkish military support is sparking concerns from northern Lebanon. The situation now is ripening for open conflict, though it may be disastrous well beyond the human element. The Emirati role, strengthened now by its warming to Israel, opens the door to Sunni ascendancy in the Shiite Crescent, a door that Iranian proxy Hezbollah will almost certainly try to close by force. Pegging a geopolitical rise to natural gas, meanwhile, is the wrong strategy at the wrong time. The United States has seen its ambitions to contain Russia by way of liquefied natural gas squashed by the quarantine economy. That comes as continental interests in Europe remain keen on Russia's Nord Stream pipeline. Turkey then may suffer the same fate as the United States. The International Gas Union in early August estimated global gas use will fall around 4% this year because of the pandemic. That's after growth of 2% last year, and any return to growth depends in large part on the resiliency of the pandemic. Gas production from offshore Cyprus, meanwhile, isn't expected till 2024 at the earliest, and with the political polls shifting quickly, that leaves Turkish ambitions on life support. But without an economic foothold, the alternative may be a military one. Often quoted by Cordell Hull, President Franklin Roosevelt's Secretary of State for 11 years, it was 19th century French economist Frédéric Bastiat who warned of the consequences of failed economic ambitions. If goods cannot cross borders, he said, armies will. This has been the GERM Report for the week of August 31st, 2020. I'm Dan Graber. Until next time.